Sophia was not an ordinary woman. At just 30 years old, she had become the proud owner of a successful chain of restaurants, inherited from her late father. Her reputation in the business world was sharp. She was disciplined, strict, and capable of seeing straight through people's pretenses. The employees respected her, but deep down, Sophia wondered if it was true respect, or just fear. Her flagship restaurant, a luxurious place in the heart of the city, had become a symbol of wealth and prestige. Marble floors reflected soft golden light. Crystal chandeliers sparkled above polished tables, and every guest who entered felt they were stepping into another world. But Sophia knew appearances could deceive. Behind the flawless smiles of her staff, she sensed something missing: genuine kindness. That doubt kept haunting her. Were her employees truly compassionate, or did they only serve with grace when money and status were involved? One night, Sophia decided to find out. She would test their hearts in a way they would never expect. Not as their glamorous boss, dressed in designer suits and heels, but as someone forgotten, invisible, unwanted, a stranger who would walk through those shining doors and expose the truth hidden behind their polished uniforms. The next morning, Sophia stood in front of the mirror, almost unrecognizable. She had traded her elegant black suit for a pair of torn jeans, a faded oversized sweater, and shoes so worn out they looked like they'd been rescued from the trash. She smudged her face with ash, tied her hair into a messy bun, and put on a knit cap with loose threads hanging. For the first time in her life, she looked like someone who didn't belong anywhere. Her heart raced as she walked toward her own restaurant. The building towered above her like a palace, its glass doors gleaming in the sunlight. People passing by barely glanced at her, some wrinkling their noses as if her very presence was unpleasant. She lowered her gaze and pushed the heavy door open. The dazzling scene inside was exactly as she remembered: sparkling chandeliers, the quiet hum of classical music, waiters gliding between tables with practiced smiles. But the moment Sophia stepped in, the atmosphere shifted. A few guests glanced her way and quickly turned back, hiding behind their menus. A couple frowned, whispering into each other's ears. One woman even clutched her purse tighter, as though Sophia's shabby clothes meant danger. Then came the staff. The hostess at the front desk raised an eyebrow, clearly uncomfortable. Without even asking if she needed a table, she gestured toward the exit with a stiff smile. "I'm sorry, ma'am, we're fully booked today." But Sophia knew the truth. The hall was half empty. It wasn't about space. It was about her. Sophia froze for a moment at the hostess's cold dismissal. She wanted to see how far they would go. So she stepped aside quietly, pretending not to notice the stares around her. From across the hall, two waiters noticed her. One of them chuckled under his breath. "Looks like someone's lost," he whispered. His friend smirked and muttered, "She must have wandered in by mistake." Their laughter was quiet but sharp enough to sting. The maitre d', a tall man named Richard, finally approached. His tone was polite, but his eyes carried annoyance. "Ma'am, this establishment has a certain standard. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable elsewhere." His words, though wrapped in professionalism, were a velvet-covered rejection. But just as Sophia lowered her gaze, a soft voice broke through the tension. It was Anna, the youngest waitress on the team. She had only worked there for a few months, still carrying the eagerness of someone trying to prove herself. While everyone else saw Sophia as an intrusion, Anna saw something else, the way her eyes lingered on a steaming plate of soup passing by. Hunger. Desperation. Anna hesitated, then stepped forward. "Excuse me," she said, her voice firm despite her nerves. "She's a guest like anyone else. We should serve her." Richard frowned. Before he could reply, Grace, one of the senior waitresses, laughed mockingly. "Oh, come on, Anna. Do you really think this woman can afford even a glass of water here? Don't waste our time." The staff exchanged smirks, some whispering, but Anna didn't back down. Her hands trembled, yet her voice remained steady. "It's not about money. It's about respect. She deserves to be treated with dignity." The room grew quiet. Even Sophia, behind her disguise, felt her chest tighten. For the first time that night, someone saw her. Not the rags, not the dirt, but the person beneath. Anna's courage forced the staff into a decision. Richard pinched the bridge of his nose, clearly irritated, but he finally gave in with a sigh. "Fine, one bowl of soup, but quickly and keep it out of sight." His words dripped with condescension, as if allowing Sophia to stay was a stain on the restaurant's reputation. Reluctantly, the order was passed to the kitchen. Chef Oliver, usually the guardian of perfection, rolled his eyes at the request. "A beggar in my dining room," he muttered. But Anna stood by, arms crossed, refusing to let him dismiss it. After a moment of silence, he slammed a pot onto the stove and prepared the dish himself. Minutes later, Anna placed the steaming bowl of soup before Sophia. The aroma filled the air, rich and comforting. Sophia lowered her head and quietly began to eat, spoon by spoon, as dozens of eyes watched her every move. Guests leaned in, whispering. Some chuckled, others stared in open disgust. The once elegant atmosphere now carried a thick layer of tension. Sophia could feel the weight of their judgment with every bite. Then it happened. Grace, the senior waitress who had mocked Sophia earlier, strutted past her table. With a fake smile plastered on her face, she accidentally knocked her elbow against the bowl. The porcelain crashed to the floor, broth spilling across the polished marble. Gasps filled the hall. Sophia sat frozen, soup dripping from the edge of the table. Grace crossed her arms smugly. "Oops, what a shame," she said, her tone dripping with cruelty. Before anyone else could react, Anna rushed forward, kneeling beside Sophia. She shielded her from the glares, her voice trembling yet fierce. "No one deserves to be humiliated like this." Not here, not anywhere, the hall fell silent. For the first time, Sophia felt the raw truth of her test. Cruelty was easy to find. But courage, compassion, those were rare treasures. The next morning, the restaurant staff gathered nervously in the grand hall. Whispers rippled through the group. Had the incident with the homeless woman reached the owner? Would there be punishment? Inspections, firings, everyone's stomach knotted with unease. The double doors opened, and in walked a woman whose presence instantly commanded the room. Her black-tailored suit fit perfectly, her heels clicked confidently against the marble floor, and her hair shone neatly styled. Heads turned, mouths fell open. It was Sophia. Gasps echoed as realization struck. The homeless woman from the night before stood before them, no longer hidden under rags but revealed in her true form. The owner, the boss, the very person whose respect they had pretended to hold. Sophia's gaze swept across the room, calm but heavy. Some staff members lowered their eyes, unable to meet her stare. Grace stiffened, her cheeks flushing red with shame. Finally, Sophia spoke. "Last night I came here not as your employer, but as a stranger. I wanted to see your hearts, not your rehearsed smiles." Her voice was steady, each word sharp as crystal. She turned toward Anna. "And among you, one person remembered what true service means. Not to wealth, not to status, but to humanity." Anna's eyes widened, tears welling as Sophia stepped closer. "You showed kindness when no one else did. For that I thank you." Then, with a smile that carried both warmth and authority, Sophia announced, "From today, Anna will work by my side as my personal assistant." The hall fell silent. Grace shifted uncomfortably, shrinking under the weight of her guilt. The others realized the truth they had ignored. Marble walls and crystal chandeliers meant nothing if kindness was absent. Sophia let the silence linger, her eyes moving slowly across the staff. Some stood pale, others shifted uncomfortably, but no one dared to speak. Finally, her voice cut through the stillness, softer now but carrying more weight than ever. "Last night taught me something important. True luxury is not in chandeliers or marble floors. It is not in expensive suits or fine dining. True luxury is kindness. To look at another human being and see a soul, not their clothes. To offer dignity, even when no one else will." Her words hung in the air, striking deeper than any reprimand could. A few heads bowed. Even the guests, who had begun to gather curiously at the back, listened in silence. Sophia placed her hand gently on Anna's shoulder. "Compassion is rare, and when we find it, we must honor it. Because without kindness, success means nothing." She smiled, not the smile of a boss, but of a woman who had found the answer she'd been searching for. Then she turned toward the camera, her eyes steady. "And now I ask you, what would you have done if you had seen me walk into that restaurant? Would you have turned away, or would you have helped? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because together we can share stories that remind the world of one simple truth. Kindness is power.